Hello everyone, and welcome to the stream. I'm joined by Matt.
Hello, how's everyone doing? How are you doing, Jamie?
I'm doing very well. And we were on Workshop Wednesday tonight, and we have got 3 routes tonight as well.
Bit of Wakayama Sakurai action.
Yes.
I love this route. It's really nice.
So,
Lovely bit of detail. It's got nice. The gameplay is quite nice because you're starting and stopping. And you know what? The biggest feature of this route is
I'm not
it
sure
has
what
the it has the bing bongs.
has the bing bongs.
It has the bing bongs.
Right, let's get all the lights on.
Did everyone see the new post that went up on Dovetail Live today about the TGV? If so, go. If not, rather, go have a look.
Yeah.
If you did see it, you could go and have a
Definitely.
look again. But I guess it's probably not going to be as exciting the second time around.
Let's find the instrument lights. There we go. And we can bring the main. No, not that one. I want the other one. That one.
Just hillbilly, the bing bongs. So what am I saying when I say the bing bongs? To be honest, when depending on where this route goes, you will know exactly what I mean. But essentially, what happens with the Japanese signaling system is that when you go to, if you imagine as in normal train, not UK trains, not normal trains, UK trains, you go to a yellow and a red stop. When you go past what is a yellow signal in Japan, you'll get an alarm you have to acknowledge. At that point, the bing bongs will sound until you stop the train.
Ah. Have I got the right settings on to do the bing bongs? That's the question.
Yeah, you don't have to do anything. It's part of how it does. It just depends on what this scenario does, but
Yeah.
usually the end of a scenario is serenades the player with a bing bong, bing bong, bing bong, and normally within about a minute, everyone's going ah.
Ah! Oh, we are off.
Is bing bong the technical term? It is indeed silo. So yes, in my world anyway, it's an onboard safety system. I guess you probably should call it. ATS. There you go.
Hello, I'm speeding. That's not good.
Grand start.
Grand start. Probably. No, I haven't. There we go.
There's a few people asking about when we're going to be showing some of the TGV route. It's not ready to show. This is a dev blog. This is like an early site of one of the things everyone's asking is tell us about stuff much further before it's due out. So this is us trying to deliver on that. So I think there's going to be more articles digging into other areas of the LGV. I think that's the plan. So yes, it's not ready to show yet.
Again.
We need to teach the driver to use keybinds, Stephen. Now, well, see, one of the benefits of using the mouse and on the HUD is people can see what you're doing.
Yeah.
A lot of people that watch the stream are not experts like you, Stephen.
Yeah.
So it is a good way to sort of let people visually see how Jamie is driving the train, and then we can all judge him when he drives it wrong.
Like the other night.
It's all good fun though. New tool sounds like an awesome bit of kit. Yes, David, it is doing well. It's one of those things that it's like it's very early days with how we're using the generation facility, but the team are doing really great work with it, and I'm confident we'll see more out of it. It's done a great job for its first cut. Actually, it's really good to see. So we just keep developing and expanding on it and increasing the range of things it can do and the fidelity with which it can do them. These things, a tool like this necessarily takes time to develop, because if you rush it, then what happens is that you end up with repetitive scenery. You end up with all sorts of things that you don't want. What you want is to end up with something that ideally looks like it would have been hand done. That's the ultimate goal, is to look like it was done by hand. So Did you build the tool? It's a combination. So part of it is bought in, and then there's an awful lot of work then on top of it to make it do what we want it to do. It's a very generic tool. It's basically a tool that is used to take data of some description of forms, any data, process scripts on it that you write, and output the result into something. It's it's a very loose system, and then what you do is you tailor that tool, customize it, develop all the scripts, and so forth. So the tech artist that's been working on it has done an awful lot of work, so yes, partly it's a tool that's been purchased, but that actually belittles what actually has been a tremendous amount of work on by the TA who's been working on it. There you go. It's a question about what route this is again. This is the Wakayama and Sakurai route. This is on Steam.
Yep.
Great fun. Bit of not high-speed Japanese action. What does NPC stand for? Normally it means non-player character, Yanadog.
Let's get in the passenger. There we go. Look at
I don't remember that being mentioned in the blog, but yeah, NPC normally means non-player character. So the passengers on the platforms. This is lovely, isn't it?
It's gorgeous. It's really nice.
Yeah, it's a brilliant stop considering he wasn't even driving the train at the time. It's really good. Those kinds of stops always look so good when you get them right, but they are the ones where you're most likely to not.
I'm not going to say I didn't practice, but
non-pink character. There you go, train boy.
Yeah.
Oh yes, so I can't hear the if I can't hear the audio. So if I'm talking over things, tell me it's sharp.
Yeah, because we get the announcements with this. It's brilliant.
Except you, Moggy, you can't tell me to shut up. Stop it.
Really nice cab as well.
Oh, damn. You know what? I didn't say baked bean kid couldn't. And what does he do?
Yeah. Let's get some trackside action, shall we?
This train actually for scenario developers, remember rightly, it's got quite a nice system for scenario authors to set all the destination boards and set up all the announcements and so forth.
Yeah.
It's quite neat. It's all described in the manual. The author describes how you use the train numbering system to set up all of the stuff on the train.
You got the really high-pitched crossings as well. There's loads of crossings along here.
Oh yeah, lots of them. You're in the middle of a built-up area, or the edge of a built-up area, I should say. This is my kind of route.
Yeah.
I like trains that are in the mix.
I love all the flowers along the route as well. That's very, very all the long grasses and everything.
Yeah, the team that make it, Union Workshop, I think, are sort of a mixture of Chinese and I think Japanese. I think Chinese developers, so they know the region very well, yeah, they're very good at it. I think they did the Hidaka line as well.
Oh right.
Which is sort of similar-ish feel to this one. Tadami, yeah.
Yeah. Someone's asking what type of train this is. I didn't actually check what unit number this is.
I can't even remember what class they use on this. It's a green one.
It's the green one.
103 series says Enter the Dragon.
Ah.
Mark, noticed TS has dynamic weather. I must say TSW looks amazing, but why didn't TSW have dynamic weather incorporated from the start? Kind of did. Powering America Part 2 actually always had dynamic weather in it. But it was a tech that was just very much woefully underused. So, and there was some issues with it, and it just dropped down the priority list with all the other things that, like making passengers and other things work, got in the way of it. So, definitely want to get that sorted. Here we come.
Unebi, yep.
Yes, they did Story of Forest Rail as well. That's really good. I really like Story of Forest Rail. It's very, very interesting and unique as a product. And the storyline is actually, the whole story element of it was sort of very heavily inspired by anime. I can't remember. Someone will remind me what the anime it's inspired from, because I don't follow a lot of anime, but apparently I know it's very obvious what it's inspired from. If I remember rightly, the track is a real track from the real world, but is then used in a fictional way. Spirited Away, that's it.
Ah. Yeah, because there is a train in Spirited Away, I think, isn't there? From what I remember.
Yeah, the track is based on an abandoned Japanese line. It's...
Go. And we're in.
Yeah, the Forest Rail route can be used, as you say, Stephen, with, the Clear Creek stock looks really good on it, because it's got that sort of, in the middle of nowhere kind of feel to it that stock just really fits nicely on. And sometimes you can just say, you know what, it doesn't matter, just, enjoy it and stick the ATN consolidation on it.
Yeah.
Even though the gauge is wrong, if you move the camera more than about 3 or 4 meters away, it doesn't really matter. So. What time period is this, Wolfgang? I think this is modern-ish, I think. I could be wrong.
It certainly seems not a normal time period.
Does Jamie have his own Twitch or YouTube channel? I don't think you do you?
YouTube channels, yes.
You do? Mate.
Yes. Yeah, I've had one main YouTube channel for about 10 years, the other one for about, well, the more modern one, for about 3 or 4 years.
Is it possible to take 3D images of locos and use that to build models? Well, it depends what you mean by 3D images. Do you mean like as in stereo photography? No. Or do you mean photogrammetry? 3D can mean a number of different things. I mean, if it's 3D, it's already a model, in theory, depending on what you mean by 3D.
Unless they do, you could... Well, the other thought I had of laser, maybe. Laser? I mean, that's how you make 3D.
Yeah, I mean, the model railway companies do laser measuring.
Yeah.
As well. Has it been addressed? I'm a little small in frame. It's fine. It's fine. Will the new tech for generated content for TSW speed up future development of routes? Hopefully. I mean, the goal actually is longer routes that take the same amount of time, rather than short routes that take less time. The goal is to be able to get more miles.
I love in this that you can hear like crickets and things like that. It makes it real, you know. Just roll in
now. Volmic, no, I think there is known issues with the sounds. I think for a lot of the German stock, the some of the sounds haven't come across correctly. So I think that's on the preserve group to take a look at. Yes, I think the running noise hasn't come across or something like that.
Oh, hello, come here. I mean, luckily these have got good brakes on them, so we shouldn't overshoot these things.
So with the new scenery builds being used for French, will that be compatible with older routes? But they've already been built, so I'm not sure what your goal is by saying that, Mark. Elaine says, passengers on this train are going to ask for their apology letters. You are over a minute late.
That is very true. I think if I was really driving a train a minute late in Japan, I wouldn't be very they wouldn't be very impressed, I don't think.
No, if I drove a real train, I'd get fired on the first day. Assuming I survived the first day.
Speed limits? What speed limits?
Scheduled arrival times? What scheduled arrival times?
Yeah.
There is a second train in this pack, yeah, the white and red one, the 105 series. It wasn't in the original launch of the pack. It was added later on by the authors in an update because it was there as an AI train, and there was a lot of people who said, "Whoa, we'd like to drive that train." So they went, but they didn't have cab modelling for it or anything, so they went out and were able to make the cab for it and make it drivable. So yes, there are. I think it's this route. There are 2 drivable trains on.
Yeah. I think it's meter gauge as well, isn't it? I think most of this.
Yes.
Yeah, I thought it was.
Yeah, it's meter gauge. I think it is. Yeah. Why wasn't station and train announcements given from the start? We're making trains and routes from the start. Can't do everything from day one, Dean. Otherwise, nothing ever gets released. Could we ever see this route in TSW? Ever is a very long time. Anything is a possibility. There, it's not on the roadmap.
Yeah.
Would I like to see a route like this? Oh yes. No, Mark. No, the scenery builder is a development tool that is used by the building team to actually make stuff in the first place. It doesn't affect anything that gets shipped out, except for the fact that routes are made. So it's not a tool that runs at runtime or anything like that. It's not even part of Unreal. It's an extra tool that's run outside of Unreal that creates all of the Unreal assets, and then we import that all into Unreal to then use it. That process will be improved, but it's a separate set of tools that's then run to do the scenery auto generation. I'm hesitant to call it scenery auto generation because it's not really doing that so much at the moment, technically, and then that's the ultimate goal. But it's sort of a very baseline population at the moment. We should be bing bongs before the next station, says Enter the Dragon.
Lovely.
Takada. Oh yes, this is where we turn around. We will make the turn and join the main line, if I remember rightly, isn't it, Takada? Isn't that the north end? I think Takada's the north end of the line. Reserves.
Yeah. It's quite a large map. I will, before we get into the station, I'll just quickly... So this is the size of the map, there you go. It's quite a lengthy map.
Yeah, and it's really interesting because halfway up the route you've got the switchback as well.
Yes.
Was the TGV in today's Dovetail Live article pink because of me or because it was still missing textures? Well, basically, the story behind pink trains internally is that the art team, when they're making the model, obviously they make the mesh model first, and once they've made the mesh, they then share screenshots around internally of it. And normally, artists will share them around, and there'll be what they call a clay model. Essentially, there'll be like a light grey texture, a white texture with baked lighting on it, so you can see it. And there's this annoying chap in the office who shall remain nameless, under his pink headphones, that kept coming back saying, "This looks amazing, but needs more pink." At some point, the art team kind of got tired of seeing that. And all of a sudden, all of these clay models became pink clay models.
Oh no!
So instead of using white as the base color, they used pink as the base color. But I was using the line today, and it now has lovely textures on the power color. So
Coming in nice and
It's
steady.
nice. Is Train Simulator Workshop where you can customize your own route or make one? So in Train Simulator 2021, which is what we're running today, the editing facilities are all built into the game. You just literally, while you're driving, you press Control E and you can edit the route.
Yeah.
You can't make your own trains, but you can make your own routes. You can edit routes. You can make your own scenarios, and then they can all be uploaded to Steam Workshop. Steam Workshop is where you can download other people's shared content. So this scenario is a piece of content that has been uploaded by someone onto Steam Workshop that Jamie's downloaded. Oh, look, there's a 105.
Yep.
So that Jamie's downloaded, and we are playing. So then there's 50,000 bits of content on Steam Workshop, several hundred routes, thousands and thousands of workshop of scenarios. There's tons of stuff down there.
Some really, really awesome stuff.
Any plans for TSW on Xbox Series X? I'm seeing lots of people already running TSW on Xbox Series X just as it is, and I'm hearing lots of really, really good things. I mean, I've not seen it myself, but I'm seeing people saying they're running it in 4K at are they getting 60 FPS, to the wall, nailed to the wall, running absolutely beautifully. So there's one person I think posted on our forums saying about it. There's videos, similar stories on PS5 as well. So I'm really hyped. I want to see it now.
There we go.
Daniel, this is the Wakayama and Sakurai. Tube Fan is getting 60 FPS on an Xbox Series S.
Nice. Who managed to get one? That's the answer, because apparently they were selling out like hotcakes.
Oh yeah, they are. So the Series S is a steal of a deal. I mean, it's like 249 quid. Absolute steal of a deal for what is quite a powerful console.
Does look nice in the rain, strangely, this route as well. There we go. So I ended up with minus 286, which is probably not very good.
It's fine.
But yeah, so that's the end of that scenario. But we're now heading across to another meter gauge route, so I will now get that roll sorted.
Like a dude, that's how the cookie crumbles in development sometimes. And with the roadmap, you get to see the cookies crumbling, the way that things work. And HS1 hasn't gone away. LGV is coming out first. HS1 will follow it, and you'll get details of that as and when. No, there's no cookies for you, Train Boy.
We'd all like a cookie now, I must admit.
Who makes the standby screens? The wonderful and talented people in our creative studio, the creative team, make the standby screens and the opening screens and so forth. Fantastic job they do too. Same team that do all the marketing assets for like going on Steam pages and you would not believe how many things they make. Just incredible. Yeah, Tube Fan, 249 quid for a 1440p 60 FPS train sim world is
yeah.
It's just unprecedented. It's absolutely amazing. It's a good shot, that, isn't it?
Yeah, it's
on
gorgeous.
The Canadian Pacific on the it's the new Searchlight AC4400, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
On the Feather River Canyon.
And then everyone's favourite pacer, as always. Yeah, it's fun. Yeah, Scotty's yeah, it goes from an amazing shot, and then it goes pacer. Yeah.
Significant upgrade in shot.
Yes. So we have an ABE unit named Toronto, number 53. Let me just let the shed load up. as we are currently inside a shed, even though it doesn't look like it at the moment. You are tasked with getting this ABE unit as well as 5 container wagons down to Samaritz. Once there, you will have to set up the 0948 service to Toronto.
Very nice.
We
It's
go
a
in
lovely
now.
little unit.
Yeah, they are good. I have been on one before, and they are amazing.
Callum, what is meter gauge? So the gauge refers to the width between the rails, and meter gauge pretty much says what it's done. What it says, what it is what it says on the tin. About a meter between the tracks. Standard gauge is 4 foot 8 3/4, or
8 and
4
a
foot 8
half.
1/2, 4 foot 8 1/2. There you go. You've got, I mean, what they call narrow gauge is actually a broad term that refers to a number of things which are just narrower than standard. Because I think don't a lot of the Welsh lines use 3'6" or something.
I think it depends. I think some use 2 foot. I think and some use just under 2 foot. It can actually be within inches. Some gauges in narrow gauge. So it's a very complicated. Like you look at the Welsh Pool and Land Fair. That's not the same gauge as for Stiniog, as is it's a very complicated system. It's the same with the Tally Linn. The Tally Linn is not the same gauge as for Stiniog.
JR is 3'6" as well. Yeah, 1,000. So just a hair over the meter gauge. I was being facetious about the pacer comment. Crikey, everyone's getting all upset.
Make sure I'm actually heading into the right area.
It's a single unit, and the idea is they run them in multiple sets, or they'll use them in Hall's coaches with them. It's a really versatile way of doing it, because sometimes you only want to run a single carriage, rather than having a loco, which is fundamentally a waste of space because you can't put any people in it.
Yeah.
Whereas in this case, as long as you're not going to also try and haul heavy wagons with it, then this thing can carry a bunch of coaches behind it, and maybe one freight wagon or something, because they do mix passenger and freight on this quite a lot, which is one of the things that's quite interesting about this area.
The RHB is amazing. I mean, I've been there a few times, and you see it, and you can't believe it. You'll have a loco hauling modern and an older stock, and then they'll have freight behind it, and it's a fantastic way of transporting goods around. There we go. Let's change cabins.
Callum Bell, what gauge do they use in the US? They use standard gauge for the most part, the same as the UK. There are even photographs you can see of, because this Class 66s came from Canada, you can see photographs of the Class 66s being hauled behind an American loco. It looks a little bit comical, to be fair, because like the SD40 is towering over these Class 66s. They look almost like model trains. But yeah, they quite happily run on the American tracks.
Okay.
I mean, they'd get lost in all of that track, to be honest. But
got to go quite a way out to come back in. Got to check all the signals. And this is Pontresina station. Yeah, Pontresina. It's basically part of the triangle. So Samaritz, you've got Samaden, Pontresina, and Samaritz, and it's basically a massive triangle.
Can we get a map view?
Of course, can. Where are we? So there is the triangle. Just an odd-shaped triangle.
Oh yes. Oh, that's cool.
So you got Samaden up here, Pontresina down here, Samaritz up here.
That's neat.
I forgot to check what other units are in here actually, while we're thinking about it. Oh, look at this. Put my head through here. Look at this. This is the UNESCO.
I say, it looks like a UNESCO livery.
Yeah, so that's the UNESCO livery for the same unit. And then these are the Allegras. There we go. which also run similarly to these. So the ABEs, they run similarly in the fact that these will be able to haul coaches and wagons as well, and essentially they're their own sort of loco unit as well, because they've made them
Yes.
powerful enough.
Yeah, I like the versatility of the way they do things out there. It's quite clever, and it solves their problem. You know, they've got every railway solves a unique problem. It's very different. It's very easy to see railways as just a railway as a railway, but actually each railway solves a unique problem to that geographic area,
Yeah.
which means that the nature of the stock can be different, and the way they use that stock can be different.
Yeah, it's a brilliant system. I mean, it works so well for them, and you go over there, and it's amazing. So like, we're now picking up some supermarket wagons, these box containers, coupe wagons. You know, I mean, it's not very often that you see, you know, standalones. These wagons are also so these box come off the back of lorries, so they work directly off the lorry straight onto the back of a wagon. So it's a brilliant way of doing things.
Intermodal, then.
Yeah, they are. They do the same for the post as well.
Yeah, there's a nice selection of wagons that come with some of the between all the different packs
Yeah.
that Rivet and Thompson put out. There's actually there's a really nice collection of stock. You build up really quite a nice complete little collection there.
Yeah. Make sure we're nice and light.
Biker dude, yes, that's me on the 483 on Isle of Wight.
Oh, hello.
Oh, look at that professionalism. What's
We've
going
had
on there then?
I don't know what's happened there. I think the wagon didn't recognise that it was. I was probably coming in too slow.
Move in, and as you get near to it, just press Control C. Control Shift C. No?
No, might have to restart it. Hang on.
You definitely on line 5?
Yep. That's definitely the wagons that I need to pick up. Because I tried the scenario earlier. Yep.
Because it's not showing up. Oh, yeah, it does say Punch C on line 5.
It's having a moment, I think.
It is having a moment.
Try again, shall we?
Binary Run, no, this is Rivet Games, wasn't it?
Oh. I think we're going to have to restart it, I think.
Okay, let's restart it and have another go.
Yep. He didn't like that. Let's have another go. Yeah, they
Alright
do.
there, Henry.
Yeah.
Go on.
Someone, as Stephen has said, they do take off fast. Yes, they do.
Yeah, they do a bit.
Wolfgang says, "Yay, more screenshots." No, Baked Bean Kid. No, I'm not attaching it to the wrong end. No, it's definitely coupled the last time I tried this. So, because I did test all these scenarios out before we played them.
That's a pace of cobble.cp. You want to see Feather River Canyon in Train Sim World? Yeah, that would look gorgeous, wouldn't it, Dallas? Feather River Canyon is an extremely pretty route.
So she do this to the actual speed limits. Right, let's see. changed? Yeah, right.
I mean, to be honest, Derek and everybody else, what's really needed in TSW is all the routes with all the trains yesterday.
Oh, I've done that
Round of applause, everyone.
wrong. Right, now we're getting somewhere. It's quite clever this, because it'll actually roll. It's very well done, because you can actually, when you change the direction, the pantograph will change each time. So if you don't have any power, it will just roll.
Yeah, that's really good. Formic, when will your garden railway come to TSW? I don't know. It hasn't cropped up on any of my research trips yet.
Because I must admit, I didn't see. Sometimes the wagons will move when you. Ah, there we go. Now it will couple. You see, it just shifted there.
You see the physics? Yeah, the physics got turned on with it.
So it will work this time. Let's actually make sure we do get it steady and correct this time. They're very well controllable, these as well. Very well. There you go, the little flap comes down. There you go. And then these are the refrigerated wagons, and you can see they're laying on the top of the. So these will just go on the back of a lorry. The same with the post wagons.
Hmm?
It was really clever. Right, swap cabins.
I think there's pneumatics actually in the coupler itself. Train boy. But they need to minimise the amount of movement, because the last thing you want is anything shaking around on the mountains. You want everything tightly, so they'll be under pneumatic pressure, and it means that there's some flexibility, but they don't want things shaking around. It needs to all stay firmly where it is.
There we go. So we've got the correct headlights on. I'll open the window so you can hear it. There we go. And what I will do is turn the brightness up on the instruments.
Jack, we leave the F4 HUD on these streams so that people who might not be as familiar with the game can see how Jamie's operating the controls to drive the trains.
Okay.
The problem with the F3 view is you get to see a bit more of the train, but if you don't know what you're looking at and you want to know how these things work, then it's a little bit more tricky to learn.
Oh, we got. There we go. So we got 55.
Gauge to the use in Spain. I think it's standard, but you can Google this stuff, Callum.
Down to 50 because we've got a downward grade. So there's the line going off to Samaden on the left-hand side there. Sorry, right-hand side.
It's the other left, folks. The other left.
Other left.
Yeah, it's a speed controller, train boy. So you set the target speed, and the train will. I think it's only a power controller. It's not a cruise controller. So it will only apply power. So it's good for going uphill. Doesn't help you going downhill. Remember rightly, I don't think it's a cruise control.
Yeah, it does help with braking, but it's not ideal. You know, when I've watched some cab rides of them doing controlling, what they will do is they will use this as well as you've got your locomotive brake and your vacuum brake, and they'll sometimes use that in the loco brake. They'll, depending on what the driver wants to use, really.
They're probably getting a blended brake then, and it's using the e-brake to
Yeah.
achieve some braking power. But yeah, if you're going down a steeper hill and you've got weight behind you, then you'll need to give it a bit of air brake or
Yeah.
vacuum brake.
Yeah, well, the gradients along the along actually going towards Toronto are insane. You know, some of the heaviest gradients. And it's quite funny. He's got a vacuum pump on this as well. Vacuum pump switch. There you go.
You'll want that on probably.
I think it is probably on. Yes, it is. It's on setting 1.
Was that train built by Stadler? No idea.
No, I don't think it was. I would imagine. I think it will probably say.
These are not GE, aren't they?
I'm not sure. Oh, they're the ABE 44s.
Let me just fire up my good friend, my favourite search engine.
Yeah.
ABE4/4.
Yep.
The Rhaetician Railway ABE4/4 manufacturer Swiss Locomotive and Machine Works and ASEA Brown Boveri. There you go.
There we go. We're speeding a little bit.
Hey, Jose Fernandez, how's it going? SLM are now part of Stadler. There you go. Thanks, Nico.
Oh, are they? That's something I didn't know. I wondered where SLM were.
Yep. WinPro AG was sold on the 7th September 2005 to Stadler Rail.
Wow. There's your interior.
I do like those ones.
And this is brilliant. So on the RHB, this is your whole map of the Rhaetian railway system, and most of the tables on the sets will all have this. It's really, really good.
Yeah, I do like those maps.
And a little interesting fact about Switzerland, did you know they had a McDonald's buffet car?
No, I didn't know that.
That was really true. Search it up and you will find there was such a thing as a McDonald's SBB buffet car. They currently have, there is also a Coop supermarket as well as a coach, and currently at the moment they are running a Starbucks cafe.
Starbucks, I just see that one, yeah.
Yeah.
The Starbucks coffee coach. Nice.
You see, they came up with good ideas.
Right, see now, this is a nice one. They've got a car here called the Buffet Suisse with a big pink stripe along the side.
Yeah, yeah. I can remember when I used to watch Swiss Railways, when I was watching Swiss Railway Journeys when I grew up, I can remember seeing that, because I think it was filmed about the same time period that was about.
Oh my word, which on your frame rate?
Oh, you had a blip there you go. Look at that.
Time it gears up position so we see some oh, look at that. Oh my word.
Look at that. Is that nice or is that nice?
Beautiful.
Love these little wooden station chalets.
Yeah, that's actually a really nice model.
Yeah. So I'll set the speed to 35.
The scenery in this, in these Rhaetian routes, is fantastic.
Yeah.
A lot of these routes are just, no matter where you are, what you're doing, there's a screenshot to be had somewhere.
Just like this. I mean, there's already a shot there. You know, you imagine being down at that level and seeing that come along.
Which route is this one?
I think if I... Oh, no, wrong button. I think this is the one. So this
is
Salmon.
Bernina, according to Nico.
Yeah, so this is the one. Yeah, there you go. There's your full route map there. There you go. And as you can see, when you get up to the really heavy bits, you've got all this twist turn backwards and forwards to get your gradients.
Nice. Yes, that is very good. But then other routes like Albilla or Arosa and all that, they've all got, you know, sort of similar feel to them. You know, they're all very nice.
But the Gotthard Bahn as well has a very similar feel as well.
Yes.
And I can show you the different headlight settings in here actually. So you've got headlight setting 1, which is 1, I think it's left side 1, and then you've got 2 and 3. Look at that. You can actually see in the tunnel better now.
Nice.
And it's really clever with this, and also these units and locos have a timetable. So you've got a flip pad with a light above it, and you can put your notes and everything on that. It's really good. Neko Diva, yes, it is the highest rail pass. Yes, Osprau Benina, I think it is. Osprau Benina, one of the highest. Another location I've been to. Absolutely incredible standing up there. I think it's about 7,000 feet up. Right, let's turn my light setting back. There we go. We're now coming into Samaritz now.
This is the northern half of the Bernina, if I remember rightly, isn't it? Or does this include the viaduct?
So you talk. I think this is the northern half. I think.
Yeah, because Bernina was done in 2 parts, if I remember rightly, by river. Down, then there's a part where you go with you can tell because it's a loop. It loops over itself, so it doesn't look like it's on there. So if you type in Bernina Express, you will almost certainly, one of the top 2 or 3 images is a picture of a really famous viaduct, and that is in the other half of this one. It's not in the northern half; it's in the other half. Both of which are well worth getting.
Yeah. And there is, I think, someone's on Steam has linked them all together as well.
I'm sure that's our good friend, Mr. Danny.
Yes. Now coming in. So now we've got to do some shunting.
There he is. He's in the chat. Hello, Danny.
Yeah. Hi, Danny. And here goes the Bernina Express.
Is it useful to carry freight passenger? On the Swiss railways, they do quite often mix them as well. Yeah. I don't think they mix them so much on like the tile trains, like things like the Bernina. But you know, your regional trains will quite often have carrying freight on there, because if you can combine 2 train diagrams into one running route, then you make it a lot smoother for everything.
Right, so we've now got to uncouple these. They're uncoupled. Wait here until the Bernina Express has departed, which it just has, down there. Hear another loco coming up. Oh, waiting for that. There we go. GE443. Right, let's go and look at this.
Yeah, it's, if you combine two trains into one, you make the whole pathing and dispatching, you know, twice as easy. Simply.
Now we've got to go and couple over to that coach over there. Now Samaritz, if you go there now, this has changed a lot. I think all these sidings have now gone on this side. You can see actually that they've modelled that the construction is going on. But this is a lot of Samaritz station has now changed, and there's now a concrete structure in front here.
Progress once again takes the railway lines away.
Yep.
Do I happen to remember what the collectibles are on Long Island Railroad? I don't off the top of my head. I'm sure there's a poster. I'm sure there's a map. I don't know what else.
Sure, we're outside, so we can actually couple up to this coach properly. Don't want to slam into it.
Route maps, fire extinguishers, damaged fences, and posters. Oh, there we go. That's what Train Boy says.
Right, let's go back to Samaritz. So that has changed. So we now go back into platform 5.
Is there an easy way to paint the handrails and ladders on the livery editor? I mean, normally what you do is you put the colour of the one down on the tank wagon, which would include the rails, and then you put the rail colour down and then draw the projection back in to pull it off of the tank body, and then if necessary use the angle to tailor it more to the surface you're trying to paint on. But I've not tried painting the tank wagons myself.
Here he comes. Now, do you think he's going to stop it? I must admit, he comes in so fast. You're like, oh, oh, and he stops. Look at that. That was that was a stop and a half for him.
Wow. Yeah.
We got the very famous Swiss clocks as well. There we go. There we go. Now in the platform. Change ends again. We're now going back on ourselves. So I need to change this point. That's already been set. Ease off. Shot of him. There we go. And it's nice because all the units and locomotives also have names. That's the nice thing.
Mm.
It's all named after locations and names on the route.
The one Class 66 livery, yeah, I'd love to do that. There's also a, I think it's an AC 6000 or an ES44 variation, being run in Australia by a coal company that's bright pink. I mean, it's all over bright pink. It's gorgeous.
Oh, someone's asking what that sign is behind me. Yes, I will get that out in a second when I've just stopped this. This is quite funny because it is relevant to where we are. Do a nice stop. Make sure we don't hit these too hard. Oh, I've gone too slow there. Whee! Well, we're there. Right, coupled. Now I can get this out now. This is a bit of fun. So this is the got Glacier Express. So Samaritz, Brieg, Descentis Andermatt, and Zermatt, and then you flip it over and it's got Zermatt on the other side in big writing. So you got both ways. Look at that.
Good.
Bit of fun.
Yeah.
And apparently you used to be able to get them. So when you used to go on the Benina Express, that was the thing that you used to be able to buy. Obviously they've got shops inside. You know, you can buy things from the train, and that was one of the things that you could buy from. Although I didn't get it from that.
I'm not bored, I'm just watching the trains. And you're not asking me any questions, so...
Yeah.
I'm just relaxing and enjoying trains. You should all try it. My day, been busy. Good day though, they're all good days. Like trains. What can possibly be bad?
There is something about red trains against the green of Switzerland.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, the colours play very nicely.
There we are. And that's the end of that scenario. We've got one more scenario coming up as well after this.
More trains!
More trains!
Did I do my best French accent for the LGV tutorials? No, I didn't even attempt a French accent. I don't want to upset all of the French people.
I'll put it on this, and we will now go and get the next scenario ready. That's part
what cab am I in? Sorry, carry on.
That's part 1 to that scenario, and that scenario is called Mixed Morning Service Part 1.
It's very good. Who authored that one?
That was Tank 2300. That one. And now I've got to find the other one. There it is. I'm going to do a bit of thrashing with this one.
No, the tutorials don't feature any Vanessa Paradis or any Nicole either. So, sorry about that. If I tried to do a French accent, Enter the Dragon, it's more like the Officer Crabtree, to be honest.
Good morning. Oh, I'm sorry, you were having a cough and a kiddle. I will turn a balloon pie.
Which route do you need to play the S-Bahn services on Köln-Aachen? Oh, that is Rhein-Ruhr-Osten, if memory serves. Someone can correct me.
Someone said I can imagine Matt sounding like Praro doing French.
Tried to work out if that's a good thing. Probably. I'm going to assume not, given it's coming from this lot.
That's true. We got that lovely shot again. That's basically been the night. That shot.
It's always coming up as the first screenshot, isn't it?
Yeah.
Liam, we have a full localization team that translate our stuff into French, Italian, German, Spanish, Polish, Russian, and Chinese. And they also handle translating all the localization of VO as well, and getting them recorded in French and German. So yes, there's a lot. They're a busy team.
Yeah. Someone's asked what cab I've got, and funnily enough, it's last year's Train Simulator. There you go. Look at that. There we go.
Don't know where mine's gone. Got a cap somewhere. I was wearing it today, but I think I put it outside next to the door where it normally sits. Is Klingon language support coming? No, unfortunately.
Look at that. VR Blue Days. Climb aboard driver and fuel up.
See, now we're talking proper trains. In proper liveries.
Look at this class 25 on these. Actually, there was a derailment in Sheffield today, last night. Did you see that? All these wagon derailed.
Yeah, PCAVs. I think it was 11 cars off and one on its side or something.
Yeah. There is so much AI in this. Look, there's an 03 shunting. All points and signals are correct. If it is stop, if it's red, stop and await right away. Oh, I can hear a Deltic. There we go.
Ooh. Who's the author of this one?
This is Nat 1959. And as we turn round, there's a 101. Look at that. So there is all sorts going on.
That's epic. That is really good. I approve.
This is a Matt approved scenario.
Well, it started out approved because it was BR Blue.
Yeah, and there goes a Gronk.
Buggy likes it because it's got a Gronk. This one is seriously playing to the public.
Yeah. We got our disc.
A proper livery is designed in the dictionary with a picture of a Southern Pacific GS5 with a 21-car daylight train. It would be amongst the list of things defining a proper livery, yes. I can agree with you because that's pretty. The daylight is a really nice livery.
37. Look at that.
Are we on the Weirdo?
Yeah, we are on the Weardale and Teesdale.
It's a very good route. If your thing is green and blue diesels and even a little bit of late steam, then this is your route.
There's another Deltic.
It's the Weird Owl route, yeah, there's just lots of polkas on this route. Oh, that's just such brilliant timing.
Yeah.
With that Deltic, just great.
This is all timed out so well, this route, I must admit. This scenario is fantastic.
The blue Pullman livery on the HST I think looks really, really interesting.
I do really like it, I must admit.
I'm really pleased that people are, because far too often we, train enthusiasts are too stuck in what really happened and not exploring other options. And the blue Pullman for me is just a really good example of, they've created something which is a spectacle to see. Whether you love it or you hate it, you kind of want to go to see it and take pictures of it, and maybe, hopefully, I'm sure they're hoping ride on it. Either way, it's got everyone talking. It's which is a good thing. So, and that's what's needed. I think it's we need more interesting things for people to talk about on the railways, rather than the things that people have already seen before.
25 and an 08.
Dean, the DTG staff read the majority of posts in the suggestions section. There are people reading those posts, yes, yeah. And collating them together.
Got the road. Well, we haven't got the distance. Sorry.
I can see Crucible. I agree. I think I can see both sides of the argument as well. But I am firmly, personally, on the view that as long as it's done well and it makes sense. I mean, there's no point just doing a livery that just doesn't work. But if it works, then yeah, I'm of a mind. Let's go for it. The Intercity A4.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's been some for the fictitious liveries website, which I don't even think is around anymore. That I used to have some absolutely outstanding liveries. There was one which was like a jazzed up 37 in all like holographic purple with
That's the
all
famous
sorts of.
bridge, isn't it?
Is it? It's a lovely bridge.
I think that's the famous, because this is not far away from Shildon. Is it this way?
Any workshops for the pump car or milk float? Yes, there's workshop and entries for both. In fact, Danny, I think, uploaded a scenario for the Portsmouth Direct Line where you drive the milk float around, which is really fun.
There you go, look at that.
Danny, if you ping the link over to a moderator, they can post it. We haven't got a permit system on this for links. So if you ping it over to Moggy or someone,
yeah.
and bribe him with appropriate quantities of frozen desserts, then he can post that link for you. Who's driving? Jamie is driving.
I'm driving.
I'm just sitting here being lazy. I did do a video on my channel about how you actually lay roads, and how to do a level crossing. And we had a bit where we could drive around the route and cross the railway line a couple of times, including the gates going up and down. It was good fun. The milk float is great fun.
I remember having I can remember getting the pump trolley. Sitting there, getting the keyboard and going ding 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 ding.
Yeah, it got dumbed down from when I originally did the setup for it. Because when I did it, it was genuinely a keyboard. It was the destroyer of keyboards. You had to absolutely hammer away. I mean, I can see why it was toned down. To be honest, no one wants to be destroying keyboards. But it was a genuine workout.
Yeah.
And I made a couple of scenarios where you had to. There was or little route segments. One of them you had to go down a steep gradient, pressing the G key and guessing whether you were dodging left or dodging right. And if you got it wrong, you ended up in buffer stops. So you had to kind of guess that and get to the bottom. And then there was another one where you had to make it up a steep hill, which involved an awful lot of thrashing. It was really good fun. But yeah, the pump car is really fun. Enter the Dragon. Yes, the little loop that of what looks like track that you can see around Guildford is the milk float track. I say track in quotes. It's invisible and it runs along the roads. And it also involves doing a jump with the milk float because they're renowned for their ability to jump. Are you taking questions on scenery creation? I'm probably not the right person to ask. By all means, ask the question, but you might find it better to ask it on the phone.
Yeah.
We have requests for Colonel Cam.
Colonel Cam. Right.
The milk float is with PDL, just Hillbilly,
Okay,
the original Portsmouth line. Oh, it's in the new one as well, is it? You need to get yourself a game controller. Game controller is where it's at for fine control of the camera.
Yeah. Another Gronk. Nice.
Wasn't your last signal with it on distant.
Well, it's green now. Look at that.
Good.
Mind you, I was going pretty slow, so
Oh yeah.
I think he's caught up a bit.
Peter Wallison, can't for life you work out how to go via instructions. So so you either need to use the flag. There's a red flag. That's a go via. So you use exactly the same as the stop ats. So you put a stop at in, say for the first one, then you'd put a go via in, and you'd say where you're going via. Then you put a stop at in. Make sure that remember if you're doing a go via, the path isn't ended. So you need to do something which ends the path, like a stop at or a platform stop or something like that. But that's how you do go vias. The other way you can do go vias is using a stop. But what you do is you put a speed. So there's a minimum speed on a stop, and if you make it like 1 mile per hour, it turns into a go via.
BL Blue 37. Running a full wake up it.
Yeah. When did Jamie first get introduced to Train Sim? I'm assuming you mean the game.
Well, I think it was about 2012. Train simulation as a whole would have been probably a few years prior to that. But and that would have been with like Microsoft Train, MSTS, or things like that. You know. But this is I came. Well, I had the. You remember having the deluxe box set where you had the postcards in it? You remember that? Train Simulator 2012.
No, I don't remember that.
And it came with an extra route. Came with the Hitachi's, I think, at the time on a test route.
Okay.
I think, from what I remember.
Evening Star or Southern Belle, indeed, Moggy. That's where train simulation truly begins.
Yeah.
On the Sinclair Spectrum. Callum, what are you saying, regional railways? Am I missing a bit of a conversation? Trams would be cool. I like the idea of trams, James Humble, but there's a few technical hurdles to solve before we do that. Like, for example, you'd want the road traffic to live up to it and interact with the train, and then handle all of the unforeseeable things that I'm sure players would never ever do, involving ramming cars with trains. I'm sure none of you would ever do that.
Oh no.
Stephen Jam, 2012, when you first picked up Railworks, amazed to be just driving trains on a computer. Yeah, it's kind of the first, when I first played MSTS, it was just that feeling of pulling the Acela out of along the NEC was just epic.
Got distant. Got another 37. Green this time. and then we've got the famous over here. We've got the diesel tenders. There you go.
Just a whole bunch of weight, aren't they?
Yeah.
Enter the Dragons, I had to simulate my trains on an abacus. Funnily enough, Abacus made Train Simulator add-ons. What train are we driving, James Hubble? This is a BR Blue Class 31. It's of the skinhead variety, rightly?
I think so. Another 101.
I'm sure she hasn't regretted that decision at all, EC. Not in the slightest.
Crucible said, didn't a preservation group rebuild a tender? Yes, the Great Central Railway. They run it during their freight galas, and they will run it with, I think they run it with a class 20 and 45, I think, mainly. It's really well done.
The Preserve Railways do a really good. The teams of engineers and the people who look after the stuff that Preserve Railways do an incredible job of restoring and sometimes creating from scratch these things that are long gone. And the thing, it's very. You think to yourself, oh well, you know, we have the tools and technology to make stuff. So making something from scratch would be easy enough, but we're actually missing so many skills now, and so many of the tools have advanced to where we don't need to make things the way we used to make them. So when you try and make the old style, you make a steam engine or make some of these old wagons and things, it's a lot harder than you might think. So it's really trying to preserve those old skills is probably one of the important things that the Preserve Railways are doing as volunteers, sort of learn these techniques and learn how to use the tools and learn how to look after these old trains, because without people who've got those skills, then eventually the trains stop being maintainable. You know, it's really important. So I'm just reading up on the chat. Didn't Abacus make Roundhouse, which you and me were involved in? Yes, they did, Moggy. Jamie's asking, what are you... sorry, Custom Mitch is asking, Jamie, what are your laptop specs?
I can't remember off the top of my head. I'll remember that for the next stream.
What I suggest, because it quite often gets asked, is put on a piece of paper next to your stream, next to your laptop. Because that way we can say every 5 minutes when the question gets asked.
Yeah.
Demon go, do DTG staff say, hey, we loved your idea, post on the forums, we add it in the next update? No. No, we look at the ideas, we don't respond to them, because if we responded to them, then people would jump to that conclusion. They would leap heartily to that conclusion. And we don't want people to jump to wrong conclusions. So suffice to say, I've not seen bad ideas on the forum at all. It's really cool seeing what everybody likes. So do keep posting your the kinds of things that you want to see, but don't be disheartened if you don't get someone from the team replying to it. We are reading them, but we have to be careful what we reply to and how we reply to if we do, because we don't want anyone to jump to an incorrect conclusion.
Yeah, and even when we do, when we do respond, we a few suggestions. We'll ask what the intentions are with the suggestion itself and why they like that particular route.
Yeah, it's all good to read. I've got someone who's actually sent me one to look at before he puts it on the forum. I think it's 70 pages long.
Blimey. Another Gronk?
Yeah, people put an awful lot of thought in and work into this.
237s over there. Another Gronk. Another Gronk. 101. now coming into Shildon.
Where, of course, the other half of the National Railway Museum is.
Yep. It's probably behind us, isn't it? Where we've just come past. Another 31, waiting for me to come through.
So many crisscrossing lines.
It's loads.
Question is, you seem to be consistent here for Workshop Wednesday. Is there anything you want to see the community make for these streams, like specific route logo combo or anything? Rather than making something specific for the streamers, I'm actually more keen to showcase what is on Workshop already, and where the gems are for people to go and download them. So what the most valuable thing is to highlight for us the great stuff that's on Steam Workshop that you think we should be showing to people.
Agreed. It takes a while to go through everything, because we have certain lengths that we want the scenario to be, and it takes a while because we try and mix it up and try and make it as different as possible.
You'll notice no Steam this week, for example.
Yes.
We listen.
Yeah.
I think everyone was given a lifetime pass to the National Railway Museum. It's free.
Yeah.
Obviously, there is a donation that they would very much appreciate, but it is technically.
Wolfgang says, "Do you, Matt or Jamie, have any model trains?"
Yes, I've got a big stack of N-gauge behind me, mostly Kato, because my son went through a phase of loving the Japanese Shinkansen, so there's 3 or 4 Shinkansen trains N-gauge back there as well as the Eurostar. But my dad has a huge 00HO set, which I've got a bunch of trains on as well. And we've streamed that actually. If you look up One Else Model Railway, and there is a model of my dad's railway on Steam Workshop, so you could drive that railway in your train simulator. If you look back on the Workshop Wednesday videos on YouTube, one of the first routes that I did was I ran the One Else Model Railway Workshop route. It was someone that did a fantastic job of it.
Yeah. There's the BR tender being used there. There you go. That's how they use it. And I do have model trains. I mainly model preserved OO gauge. I then model European HO and HOM. And I've also recently started to get into 009. I'm building a little lockdown little set, which I'm hoping to have finished by the end of lockdown. It's about the size of an A4 sheet, which is... Got 25 here. In green.
No, yes, Slug is powered, Derek. Well, those things are not. They're tenders, so they're just brakes, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
So if you're going down a hill, they're heavy. They're ballasted, and they give you extra braking power going down hills. And once you've gone down the hill, I think you would generally dispose of it in an appropriate yard, and then carry on. So that it means that if you're overweight for going down a particular grade, it's like having a banker but going down a hill, but it's just brakes.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really interesting, Liam.
There we go. Because you see, I'm trying to stop here, but a brake tender would obviously help with this. Oh, passing another 37.
I do love a bit of tractor action.
Must admit, I used to love the short set. I used to have a short set, you know. Used to run run on the wherry lines.
Mm. Yeah, they used to top and tail them.
Yeah, they did. Used to be Duffs first, didn't it? And then
Yeah, then 37s. More recently, they were 68s.
those were brilliant. When they did the Yarmouth air show, and you used to have a full London set with 268s on either end. And we're now coming into Bishop Auckland. I know there's a lot of locos around here.
What's the point of those huge black boxes around the headlights? Well, if you look back, they never used to be headlights. They were actually the 4-letter train reporting number, and you'd have 1N43 or 5N73 would be on the front, and they would. But then when they stopped putting them on the trains, they converted them into lights. So effectively, you have basically a big black sheet with a hole in it for the light to come through.
Here's a 101.
Man, the way that camera is sitting, I thought, hang on, that's not going to end well. What on earth is a milk float? A small electric vehicle, which is used for. I mean, it's the earliest example of electric cars, but they were like a little electric vans that were used for transporting milk to people. So it come from the dairy out, deliver all, do all the starts and stops, and then come back and go back to the depot. And fingers crossed, they never ran out of power on the way. And if they did, then they had to get rescued.
Yeah.
Yeah, but all this fuss about electric vehicles being a new modern thing, UK's been doing it for years.
Yeah.
We're so beyond electric vehicles.
There you go, look. Another DMU. I'm not sure which one this is. Is that 104?
Looks like a 105 to me.
105. I've got another 03 and 31.
What's beyond electric? Apparently going back to petrol.
The size of the signal box there. Massive.
You wouldn't want solar over here in the UK, Wolf. It'd only work in the summer.
Yeah. How do you drive about then?
We can't do whatever you do. Don't go in a tunnel.
Yep.
If I could drive any real train for a day, what would it be? Any real train, basically. I'd love it. I'd love to have a run on a steam engine. Failing that, I'd like to run on a diesel train, and failing that, a pacer. But if the best I could get was a pump car, take that as well.
I've done a pump car. There's something I forgot to mention as well. I've done a pump car. I think probably, considering I have driven locos already, it would probably be a Black 5. If I'm going to drive a Black 5 for a day, I'll probably love that.
They barely counts as a train, Volmic. What are you talking about? I've seen you drive a K4 steam loco before. I don't think anyone wants that in real. Shush, Stephen. As long as there's no fish wagons and a pier, we're all right.
turn the power off now because I know we're coming up to new cat arrival. What I will do is I will film the viaducts. Look at this.
Oh, that's pretty.
Look at that.
There's plinky plonk music going on in the back of my head. Can't possibly think what it.
Set points to Newton Cap Colliery 1 for your wagon drop-off. Make sure I've got the wagon set right. So right coming into there. So it's just that one. Doing the speed limit. Yeah, there has been a hydrogen train that's just been there was a 321 that's been converted, wasn't it? I think
319.
319.
I think there's a 319 that's been converted. Oh, there's a 321 as well, says Danny.
Yeah, I thought it was. Coming into the colliery now. I think the Ziltrailbahn in Austria have are starting to convert some of their, or starting to build some new units for their narrow gauge, and they're going to be hydrogen, I think.
Yeah, they're modifying some Gronks over to being battery based as well, I think.
Yeah.
Battery is interesting. It's like the modern version of a boilerless loco.
It is, isn't it? Yeah.
Or fireless loco.
Yeah.
Matt driving the ECML from King's Cross to Peterborough in real life. That'd be awesome, as long as no one wants me to stop it anywhere beginning with a K.
Now, funny enough, you said battery Gronk, Moggy. It won't be a battery Gronk. It'll either be an E-Gronk or an I-Gronk. Look at that.
Can't be an iGronk. It gets sued by another company.
Probably have to be an E-Gronk then.
No, it wouldn't stop at anywhere beginning with a K. So, you know, basically there'd be a bit of a mess at the buffers in the southern end of the route.
Put the brakes on the brake van. Uncouple up to the head shunt. Make sure I've got the point set. Nope. Points set there. Points set there. There we go.
It's a good scenario, this.
It is.
TSW would love to see over Shap, but with a 390. Shap is a lot.
No, I'd like to see Shap with a big Bertha. Frankly, we have a good strength.
Wrong incline.
Oh no, wrong incline. Yeah, I'm wrong incline. I'm thinking of Licky, aren't I? That's the one I'm thinking of. Oh dear. There we go.
Has there ever been a horse pulling a wagon? So someone actually did a community mod for MSTS, which was a donkey, and someone did a donkey pulling a cart. It was extremely silly. don't think there is a donkey on the Isle of Wight, Liam, because that wasn't done by the Dovetail Art team.
Course has a gravity train. Yes, it does. Yes, Chorus does have a gravity train, I think.
Or a gravity wagon, yeah.
Gravity wagon, yeah.
Which is basically a wagon.
A controllable wagon, let's put it that way.
Yeah, it's got this nudge key, so you can sort of nudge the wagon forward a bit. The airlines don't connect me coupling the cement wagons that come with the 363. I've heard something about that. That'll be on someone's list to have a look at some point, Nathaniel, I think.
Sure, I've set the right junction here, because if not, we'll be going back on the main line. We don't want to be going back on the main line. Going over to that one. Go.
Yes, you can open the cement wagons, yeah.
Okay.
Where's the FPS so low? I think that Jamie's laptop is struggling a little bit with running the game while streaming at the same time is all.
Yeah. Yeah, it does struggle a bit sometimes.
Cable cars would be great, but you don't drive a cable car, Dean. What's your expected gameplay experience from a cable car?
There we go. We're there.
Quite a few. We're there.
We're there. Look at that.
That's very good. Remind me who made this scenario?
So that was Nat 1959. And now we've
There you
got... It says scenario incomplete, but we have completed it, I think. But
We did everything.
Yeah.
Even if it doesn't think we did.
Says, nice one drive. It'll take a few hours to fill the wagons up. Have a tea break. I hope you enjoyed this little scenario. Best regards, all Nat. There we go.
Brilliant. Three really good scenarios. They're good little finds, Jamie.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, yeah.
Huge shout out to the community that upload stuff and shared their work on Steam Workshop. It's always a pleasure having a look around and seeing, you know, the great stuff that you're coming up with. So as I said earlier on, what do we want to see? Well, what do you want to see? What we want to show you is the amazing. So if you play a scenario or you see a route and you're like, oh wow, this is amazing, that's the sign that you should be dropping us a message. I think Jamie did set up a post to make some recommendations for what you'd like to see on there.
Yeah, it's in. If you go into the TS side of the forums and you go down to general, it's in there, and you'll see it says Workshop Wednesdays, and just put it in there if you find something and explain why you want to see it, and put your link in and everything, and I'll have a look at them.
Brilliant. Well, thank you very much, everybody, for watching and for the very enjoyable conversation.
Yep.
What's the rest of the week plan looking like on streams, Jamie?
So the rest of the week, if I can remember, if I've closed it, I should have kept it open. I'm doing myself not very good there. Right. So for the rest of this week, we have got. So me and Natalie are back tomorrow with Northern Trans Pennine, and then
Nice.
Natalie and Sam are on Great Western Express on Friday.
There you go, folks. So come back and support them and enjoy some good streams. And until then, we'll catch you later. Thanks very much for watching.
Yeah, thanks everyone. Bye. Bye.